So it
Wow.
was like, yeah, pretty much 9 people, 7 kids
Yeah.
and 2 parents. So we lived on top of each other. They were literally stacking us.
Having a big break in Hollywood can be life-changing. But for the Culkins, it came with a lot of ups and downs. And the family was eventually torn apart by the very thing that changed their lives for good. At the center of it all were Kit Culkin, the family's patriarch, and young Macaulay Culkin, whose good fortune didn't have the desired effects on his family for long. Their story has been one filled with struggles, greed, and the eventual split of the family. To this day, emotions still heat up, and the Culkin children have spilled new details about their personal struggles and how the instability they experienced early in life changed everything. Join us as we unravel the devastating new details about the Culkin family. Before we get right into it, let's look at how acting became entrenched in the family through the patriarch of the family, Kit Culkin. Kit Culkin, whose full name is Christopher Cornelius Culkin, was born on December 5, 1944. While growing up, he nursed dreams of making a big break in Hollywood, which inspired his move to New York, where he struggled to make a break into the industry. However, he soon discovered the challenges involved in the pursuit. Over the years, he got roles in stage plays and other small productions, but never quite got that break that he so desperately wanted. While he was in the early stages of his career, he got some roles in the production of Hamlet in 1964 and also West Side Story in 1961, which failed to get him the fame that he wanted. Following these failures, it was difficult to make ends meet, and his family felt the pangs of financial difficulties during this period. They all hoped that something would work out soon, but Kit didn't have the fire that the industry needed. Kit was with Patricia Brentrup at the time, and they both went through a hard time together with their growing family responsibilities. Kit's dream of becoming an actor brought some instability within the family, as they constantly had to move to meet his needs. Eventually, things never worked out, but Kit got to live his dreams through his children, who became more successful than he ever was, and most notable among them is Macaulay Culkin. When Kit discovered Macaulay's good fortune, he threw his whole weight behind him by becoming his manager, overseeing basically every aspect of his career at the time. He was in charge of negotiating deals, arranging for auditions, and making other important decisions. Finally, he got a taste of the success that he always wanted in Hollywood. With Macaulay making his break at a very young age, he depended on his father for everything. However, Kit soon started building quite a reputation as his manager. Producers weren't exactly happy with his approach and had problems with his extreme demands and desire to control every aspect of Macaulay's career. At some point, they believed that his overbearing attitude and continued clashes with studios might place a limitation on Macaulay's career. He prioritized financial gains over ensuring that Macaulay got deals that would be good for him, which placed immense pressure on the young talent. While Kit was instrumental in seeing that Macaulay got some of his biggest deals in Home Alone and My Girl, his continued presence in his career started becoming a hindrance to his development. And Macaulay has expressed his dissatisfaction with some of his approach now that he is older. Now let's take a look at Macaulay's development over the years. Among the most popular child stars in the 1990s, Macaulay is one that is easily recognizable, as his movies basically made it to the screens in most homes at the time. He was born on August 26, 1980, in New York, and was the third out of 7 children. Very early in his life, he became a source of financial breakthrough for his family, owing to his incredible acting skills, which manifested at a really young age. At age 4, Macaulay was already showing promise, as he was featured in some stage plays where his acting talent was becoming obvious. The charisma he displayed wasn't something you would expect from a kid that young. From then, he even got deals to appear in commercials and other small productions. It wasn't long before he started to get the attention of producers and talent hunts. In 1985, he was cast in a minor role in the production of The Midnight Hour, which marked his official entry into Hollywood. He had gotten this far because his father, Kit, was behind the push and was determined to see him become successful. With his growing popularity in the industry, Macaulay got roles in the 1988 making of Rocket Gibraltar and also made appearances in the popular TV series The Equalizer. However, the feature that changed everything for Macaulay was his role in the 1989 production of Uncle Buck, where he caught the attention of the director, John Hughes. In the comic movie, Macaulay played the role of an inquisitive nephew to John Candy's character, and his talent stood out while at it. People were taken by his performance, especially in the scene where he interrogates a potential babysitter through the mail slot. Hughes was so taken by his performance that he was determined to have Macaulay for the lead role in his upcoming movie, Home Alone, which premiered in 1990. At this time, Hughes was already an established figure in Hollywood and was the one behind successful productions like 16 Candles and The Breakfast Club. With the combination of Hughes's genius and Macaulay's talents in Home Alone, there is rarely anyone today who doesn't know the story of the young lad, who was always left behind during family trips and forced to defend his home from intruders. At the time of its release, the movie recorded huge success and became the highest-grossing live-action comedy at the time. The movie appealed to all demographics and recorded an amazing $476 million worldwide. Macaulay's role as the central character, Kevin McAllister, shot him into international fame, and he soon became one of the most sought-after child actors in the world. With this, the Culkins were pulled out of their financial struggles, riding on the success of their young star. With the first release of the movie, Macaulay was reportedly paid $100,000, which grew with the success of the movie. Capitalizing on the success of the first release, Hughes and his crew made Home Alone 2, Lost in New York in 1992, which saw a significant boost in Macaulay's earnings. By then, his earnings had grown to an astonishing $4.5 million, which made Macaulay one of the highest-paid child actors in the industry. As you would imagine, the newly found fame meant that there was a lot of pressure on Macaulay, as there were multiple offers to feature in different movies. His performance in Home Alone earned him a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy, and he also won the American Comedy Award for Funniest Actor in a Motion Picture. Macaulay also started taking up more serious roles and was featured in My Girl in 1991, where people witnessed his ability to take on diverse roles and also show some level of emotional intelligence. Alongside the main character, played by Anna Chlumsky, Macaulay got accolades for his stellar performance in the movie, further establishing his place in the industry. We also saw him take up the character, Henry Evans, in the making of The Good Son in 1993. This further showcases his versatility, as it was a departure from the family-friendly movies that he has been used to over the years. The movie is a psychological thriller, and Macaulay was praised for providing depth for his character. Within this same period, we saw Macaulay feature in movies like the 1994 production of Richie Rich and The Pagemaster. In the former, he took up the role of the world's richest kid, and people were taken by his performance. The latter was a fantasy adventure, which was a combination of live action and animation. Despite being successful in their own right, none actually got him the kind of visibility that he got with Home Alone. However, in the background, things weren't just going as well as people might have thought for the Culkins. There was a series of issues playing out, and seemed to have Kit in the middle of it all. His overbearing attitude was just getting overboard and complicated issues for Macaulay, both in his career and within the family. What shook the whole family was the friction that started between their parents, Kit and Patricia, in the 1990s following their eventual separation, as they were never married in the first place. This was a dramatic and deeply troubling time for the Culkin children, especially Macaulay, who found himself at the center of it all, as they battled for who would take charge of controlling his fortunes. At that time, following the amazing performance of Home Alone and My Girl, Macaulay was a multimillionaire even before he turned into a teenager, as his parents, Kit and Patricia, were responsible for managing his earnings, which provided a major means of comfort for all of them. This, however, became a big issue when the troubles started. Macaulay would later reveal that Kit's overbearing attitude transcended his role as his manager in Hollywood, to also influence his relationship with his partner and children. In 1995, a very turbulent moment started for the Culkins, when Patricia filed for custody of the children. Kit, who had invested so much emotion and time in seeing that Macaulay made his break in Hollywood, wasn't so keen to let them go easily, as this would mean that he would lose control of the earnings. His strained relationship with his children was, however, not in his favor. Finally, Patricia was able to convince the courts that she was the most stable and reliable parent to take charge of the children, and that included Macaulay, who she now became fully responsible for. This was a huge blow to Kit, who felt he was being ripped off his hard work. But years later, what his children have to say about him shows that he might not have been the right fit to take care of them. In the years following the whole drama, Kit has tried to fix things with his family, as his children were deeply embittered with the way he treated them. But he hasn't been able to make a full reconciliation with Macaulay, who seems to have seen the worst of his father, given that they had to work together. Macaulay wasn't also so pleased with the way his finances were managed, and had filed for emancipation from his parents as a teenager. Listening to Macaulay now speak of the relationship that he has with his father, it becomes obvious that he had to deal with a lot at the time. He has often spoken about how liberating it was for him when he finally got his emancipation, employing the aid of an accountant to help him properly manage his earnings. The news of his emancipation had come with a mixed opinion from the people, but Macaulay was very sure that was what he needed to do to set things on the right path. All the Culkin children have had something to say about the challenges that came with the separation, but none seem to have had it as bad as Macaulay, who had to battle all the challenges alongside the pressure that comes with giving his best to his appearances on movie sets. The intense scrutiny and constant pressure led Macaulay to withdraw from the public eye. By the mid-1990s, he had become disillusioned with the industry and the lifestyle that came with it. The turmoil at home, coupled with the demands of his career, pushed Macaulay into a state of depression. He later admitted that the pressures of fame and his family's dysfunction left him feeling isolated and unhappy. The bold move that he made in 1997, which removed Kit from being in charge of his finances, turned out to be one of the best decisions that he had made. He was just 17 at the time, but was informed enough to know what was good for him and his career. After he got control of his earnings, Macaulay decided to take a step back from the spotlight. The pressures he had experienced at such a young age complicated his life, and he needed some time to work things out. During this time, he got to explore other interests and discovered who he really was outside the overbearing watch of his father. During this time, he didn't totally disconnect from the industry. He took up small roles that didn't require much and also made guest appearances, which helped him keep in touch with trends in the industry. This lasted through the late 1990s and the early 2000s, allowing him to think straight and make his own decisions. By 2003, Macaulay decided to take a step back into the game and also have a shot at life as an adult in the industry. His run as a child actor was so great, and he desired to replicate the same outcome now that he was fully grown. He took up roles in movies like Party Monster in 2003, where he played the character of Michael Alig. Being well at home with the challenges that come with Hollywood, he was determined to maintain a low profile and took a shot at voice acting, and also made appearances in shows like Will and Grace. None of these endeavors brought much attention to him, as he had previously as a child actor, and he appeared to be enjoying the convenience. With more time on his hands, he has explored other interests like his venture into a comedy podcast and also a website called Bunny Ears, where he takes advantage of the huge followership that has gotten over the years. He has also taken a shot at producing and writing scripts, which maintains his desire to live a more reserved life. Though Macaulay might not be as active as he used to be, one cannot deny the huge impact that he has had within the short period that he made waves in the industry. Growing up, his movies were a staple in every household, and he inspired many parents to let their children take a shot at acting. As an award-winning actor, he has established himself in the history of Hollywood and will forever be remembered for his contributions. Looking beyond the many successes recorded, he has also faced really troubling times in his life, especially when he had to deal with the challenges that came with an unstable family and a growing career in Hollywood. He had to battle depression, which had led him into addiction, but have managed to get over all these challenges. Macaulay Culkin comes from a large family with 6 siblings, several of whom have also pursued careers in acting. The Culkin family's experience with Hollywood has been marked by both successes and significant challenges, particularly due to their father Kit Culkin's domineering influence. Despite being the one who got to face his father the most, some of Macaulay's other siblings have had things to say about their father, and some have also made a career for themselves in Hollywood. He has also made a career for himself in Hollywood and has been pushing boundaries ever since. He was born in 1982 and made his entry into the industry as a child actor like Macaulay. He even worked side by side with Macaulay on the set of Home Alone, playing the character Fuller, Kevin's cousin in the movie. Unlike Macaulay, who saw a decline in the roles that he played, Kieran started getting some major roles as he got older. We saw him in Igby Goes Down in 2002 and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World in 2010. Though not as widely known as his brother, he has made his mark in the industry and has also had a recent appearance in the HBO series Succession, which has come with many awards and recognitions due to his performance. Over the years, he has also commented on the difficulties that came with growing up in his family, under his father's overbearing attitude. He acknowledged his obsession with Macaulay's career and how it didn't work out well. This whole drama created a very tense and difficult environment for them while growing up, but he seems to be doing well for himself at the moment. Born in 1989, Roy Culkin is another person within the family who has carved for himself a successful career in Hollywood. He grew up taking after his brothers and soon started making impacts in the industry just like they did. You might remember him from the movies You Can Count on Me, which was released in 2000, and Signs, which followed in 2002. One of his most recent projects is Lord of Chaos back in 2081, and he continues to grow his craft. He has also revealed that the environment that they grew up in was stifling and didn't allow them to pursue individual interests. He is, however, grateful that they can now put all those challenges behind them and have made something of themselves. Other siblings include Shane Culkin, Quinn Culkin, and Christian Culkin, who have also made some appearances in movies. Shane didn't quite pursue a career in acting, but Quinn had appeared in The Good Son, and Christian has also had a brief career in the industry before leaving to pursue other interests. The Culkins definitely had a challenging beginning, but they have made the best out of their situation. What's your best memory of Macaulay in the Home Alone franchise? Let's talk in the comments, and we will have more interesting stories coming your way.